The Yamaha Mio family is getting bigger and bigger, and today we have its newest member, the Mio Gravis. I'm Inigo Roses, and this is another Moto Pinas video review. Now when it comes to the design of the Mio Gravis, you've got a much more mature overall look. So first of all, you notice there's a lot less decals as compared to the other Mio models. And of course, you've got the 3D badges on the side. Now when it comes to the front facade, you've got the integrated headlamp. It's got LED lights, and the signal lights are separated, they're positioned lower on the body. And of course, when you look at the wheels, you've got a smaller 12-inch wheel, but you've got a thicker tire all around, which is great for absorbing bumps. So let's talk about this Yamaha Mio Gravis. What is it exactly? Well, whether you consider the Aerox a Mio or not, this is technically the fifth member of the Mio family. So since it's sort of the last to come out, it's not necessarily the worst. It's actually probably one of the best, because in that time since the last Mio came out, Yamaha has had a chance to do their homework, to do a little bit of market research on what the buyers of Mios do with their motorcycles. And you can see the results of that study in this Mio Gravis, because it's got a lot of the features that many of you riders had probably had to pay a little bit extra for to fit into your Mio. So what are those things? These are things like the hazard lamp switch. So a few of you have probably had to wire that yourselves and put a switch somewhere on the handlebars. You have the power socket. Again, that's something you probably had to research on or get some kind of electrician to wire for you. And now it also comes stock. And of course, there are a few other things, things you find on higher end bikes, like let's say the X-Max 300. So that one has a quick release button for the fuel cap and the seat. So now in this Mio Gravis, it comes as standard. Fuel tank. So the fuel tank is now on the front shield, and the nozzle itself for the fuel tank is right behind the front shield, so you don't have to open up your seat and then twist open that cap. Now it's right here. You don't even have to get up from the bike. You can just sit there while they refill the tank. So it's a lot more convenient. You don't have to stand up, put it on the center stand and all that. So Yamaha has just done all of this homework to make it far more easy to use every day. A lot of you want to know, how's the power? Well, it's pretty great. This is a 125cc. Now it's a blue core engine, so this is Yamaha's very latest. It's very powerful, it's still quite efficient, and a new thing here is it's really quiet. In fact, it's so quiet, you really have to pay attention the first time you start it, because you really don't hear any cranking sound and you hardly feel any vibration. I had to stick my ear really close to the engine area because I wasn't sure if it was already on, and I didn't want to press the quick start button again, and risk damaging the starter. So it's super quiet. It's shocking, actually. This is probably the quietest starting bike we've ever tested. So how does that equate to the road? Well, there's a lot of power, there's a lot of pull right from the offset. So you can get up to speed from 0 all the way to 60, 70 kilometers per hour pretty quickly. Now the acceleration starts to slow down after that. But again, you got to remember, this is a city scooter. So generally, you really will be only taking it up to 70, maybe sometimes 80. So that's actually pretty good. It's all you really need it for. Now another new thing here is the integrated instrument cluster. Now this little thing integrates your fuel level, your real-time fuel economy readout, your speed, your odometer, and of course if you press on the function button, it'll show you your trip meter, your battery voltage meter, a little extra info like that. So that's really handy to have. Of course, the only problem is it's a black and white LCD, and it's a bit cluttered and small. So first few minutes on the bike, you'll get used to reading all of this info at a glance. So it's a lot to take in at first, but after a while it becomes second nature. It's not so confusing after that. Just gives you a simpler view, instead of all those dials. So how does the Gravis ride? Pretty good, actually. It's probably props to the suspension system and the very thick tires for its size. Now of course some of you may be complaining, it's only 12-inch wheels. The standard now is 14. Well, yeah, but you also get a thicker tire with that. So it's both wider and taller. So there's more rubber to absorb the bumps and ruts. And it's also wider. So it just gives you that thicker contact patch when you're leaning the bike. So it's fun both on road and, on rougher roads. And the ride is much better. It's pretty comfortable. You can roll over bumps without really worrying much because it absorbs most of it. And usually city scooters like this are, pretty bumpy. But this one is surprisingly enjoyable, very comfortable. So, how are the Gravis' brakes? They're pretty good. Just takes a little bit of press on the handle for them to bite quite a bit. Now, the combination of a front disc and rear drum is not bad. It's actually pretty decent. It's a very light bike, so it doesn't take much to bring it to a stop. And it's pretty easy to modulate. So, you get pretty good feedback from these brakes. And you can already tell instantly when they're gripping, and they slow the bike down quite a bit. House storage? Well, it's pretty good. The good thing about it is that the tank has now been moved to the front shield, so that frees up a lot of space under the seat. And Yamaha claims you can put a full face helmet in it. Of course, based on the shape of the storage, I think you have to fit it upside down for the helmet to be able to fit. But if you have a half face helmet, open face helmet, they should be able to fit really easy. Full face, I think there's just a certain way you need to fit it in to be able to close the lid.
And that concludes our test drive of the Yamaha Mio Gravis, a well-equipped, comfortable, and easy-to-ride scooter. This has been Inigo Roses, and thank you for watching our Moto Pinas video review.